I really love the most about like the plant is that it makes paper, fiber, fuel, energy. We can run our cars on it. We can eat from it. And you know what? California, believe it or not, is about to legalize industrial hemp. We might actually get this on the ballot, which means, which means that which means that we have jobs for us. And we could maybe actually not have like a patent seed like Monsanto anymore. We can actually eat a real seed again. So anyway, but there is hope. But one thing is that with smoking marijuana, don't you think you're brilliant when you do it? But there is that element. Sometimes I think maybe it's a little bit out of hand, you know when a sign says no U-turn? What if it meant no U-turn? Oh my God. I think doing the hokey pokey is really what it's all about. Put your right arm in, you put your left arm in, and you shake it all about. You get that? I know why God gave women yeast infections. So they'll know what it's like to live with an irritating cunt.
We are back, and I want to introduce my guest, Devin Monahan, to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Great, thanks. I'm really happy to meet you. I think you're very talented. And, no, it's true. I mean, I read your short stories. I read them, and I was kind of in a hurry today. I'm like, okay, I need to know, do research, right? And I thought, oh, well, maybe I'll just read a few and get a gist. And I was so engrossed that I couldn't put it down. You're really a really prolific writer. I mean, I love your just the humor that's in it. The humor, the edginess to it. It's intelligent. And I also enjoyed the characters that you created in your short story. I have a question to ask, though. Specifically, the story about Gold.
Gold, yes.
Is that semi-autobiographical at all?
No, it's not. It's actually the first real story that I sat down and wrote that I was proud of. It came from about 3 years ago when I was at the University of Nebraska, and it's the story that I'm most proud of. So it's really gratifying to hear that people like it and understand it.
Yeah. I thought I really got into the characters, and especially the father, the way he unfolded. You're like, okay, you give a little bit of a setup through the mom, and then you kind of see you see the way you wrote, where you see his it's through the eyes of the younger brother. Basically is the main storyteller through his world.
Yeah.
But you just kind of see his character kind of digress to where now he's drinking, now he has his flask, the inappropriate things that he says during the baseball game. What I really liked was the flip of this. I for some reason I thought that of a kid as being you, but however, as you were writing through that child that you created, I loved how in the end he said, well, I'd love to have one of those Viking hats, and then I'd like to have one for my friend, but then he'd have to give it back to me eventually, which kind of seemed that he still had a bit of the mentality of his father. Is that how you meant that circle to fall, or is my
this all kind of sounds strange to anyone watching it randomly, but if they read my stories, and I sell these for about $2, and payment options are available. And they'll be worth thousands after I'm assassinated. So yeah. But
I have a friend that told me, because if somebody's not trying to kill you, you're not being effective in the world.
Well,
I don't know if that's a dark way of actually saying something, but
if I'm assassinated, it means I'm famous.
No. So I was like, don't put that cloud on yourself. That's not necessary. So when did you start doing stand-up?
March 4th, 2009, but I've been doing it consistently for about 1.5 years now. And it's such a fascinating form of art in that there's no art form or sport that relies more on the audience. And so when I go up there, it's about connecting with the audience, but also making them think and laugh. And I'm so lucky to be doing it right here, right now in Portland, because we have a expanding comedy scene, and we always punch above our weight artistically. And so I try to get out. Recently, the past 3 months, I've been doing it about every other night, and just trying to get better at it. But you learn so much each time.
Yeah, you do. I mean, I find that, I mean, I've been doing it for much longer.
Yeah.
I'd say I've got like, I hate to admit it, but I have about 20 years under my belt in terms of actually really, doing it. And I never stop learning. There's always another level to go to. And that's what I like about the art form. I think once you stop like thinking that you know everything, you're not really progressing. You're not quite as effective as you are. And it's really inspiring for me to hear young comics saying that I can say something that people might think about, or that because I really feel that stand-up is an art form too, that in our society we need to have the satirist, we need to have the person who is pointing out in a funny way what may not be right in the world in which we exist in, or maybe perhaps a deeper truth that is going on, that if we can laugh about it, then that the other part of the other person, other people in the world are recognizing that there is truth, or realization that they realize that in their own selves as well. So I think it's actually like a very powerful medium of entertainment. I think it's either Billy Wilder or Oscar Wilde. I have to like
Wilde.
Oscar Wilde says the only way to tell the truth and not get shot is to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So which I'm like, whew, I hope that's true.
Yeah, exactly. So
Right.
It's like, don't shoot the messenger, but if the messenger says, hey, we're going to invade your city, but we're going to do some remodeling too. You're not going to, well, you probably still decapitate him, but...
Well, maybe they'll be shamed publicly, if they masturbate in a theater or something in the dark.
Yes.
Like, they'll get whatever. So your comedy career now, today we are going to have a debate with your brother, which we're going to set up here in a moment. Your brother is a writer for he freelances for the Oregonian, and he is opposed to Measure 80 and rather conservative. It seems like with obviously he's doing a show called Right Jab.
Yeah.
For Portland, Oregon University,
Yeah.
which has a right perspective of politics, which is really great too, because I think it's good to have young people with their young mind, going with being conservative, because I always have faith that maybe the younger person who's a conservative is a better conservative,
Yeah.
more progressive conservative than, the older, staunchier, set in their ways. I mean,
The dinosaurs.
the dinosaurs. I mean, your brother probably is not, against abortion rights or gay marriage or any of those kind of things. I don't know. I haven't talked to him personally. But is he?
Well, no, he's not socially conservative, like as in thinking that the Bible invalidates the Constitution. No, he's not that. He's much more let the people have their liberties type of conservative than a lot of the conservatives who are giving Republicans a bad name. So he's the type of conservative who reads. That's nice.
That's nice. Yeah. And now with you in marijuana, you are pro marijuana, obviously.
Oh, fanatically, yeah.
Yeah. And when did you start smoking?
Oh boy, this is, if I make it big, people are gonna come back to this interview like, oh, But okay, so I started in high school. The first
when you make it big.
Yeah, I started in high school. The first full year I did it was my junior year in high school, and my grades had never been better. And which is funny because they gave me Ritalin at third grade. My teachers and doctors and parents forced that on me, but if they had just because I was impulsive, and they tried to fix that with stimulants, but if they had just given me like a weed cookie, like half of one, come on, I would have sat down. But I started in high school, I kept doing it, and sometimes it's for pleasure, other times it's one of the best cures to writer's block.
Yes.
And so I don't just use it recreationally, though it is always fun most of the time, but then I use it professionally too.
I do too. I do the same thing. And also, there are times where I use it to meditate or just to get centered as well. And I use it for a variety of some ailments that I suffer from.
Well, I use it medicinally to cure hangovers. And then also, like today, I got into it with someone on my Facebook about it, that this liberal guy who I thought would support legalizing it, but he didn't. And I was being an asshole to him. And then I left, smoked, and reflected on myself, my actions, and then apologize to him for being really aggressive. And so for me, it cures asshole.
I agree. I've had those moments where I have smoked some and then reflected on my actions and went, wait a second, there's another way for me to look at this. Again, I always say it's something where it helps you shift your perspective on something. For me, it takes me out of that emotional zone to where I'm kind of going, I'm up here now, and I guess maybe your higher self.
Well, it's like if you want to feel right, drink. You're going to feel right. But if you want to feel honest or truthful, for me, it helps to smoke and kind of clear away the gunk from my soul.
Oh, that's nice. I like that. Well, on that note, we are going to take a look at Devin Monahan's comedy, and then we have a comedy clip here for you to watch. Oh, where was this clip? Where was this performed at?
This was performed at the Oak Grove Tavern, which will be on September 1st
Yes.
at 9 o'clock. And it's a free show, so you will get your money's worth,
Yeah.
or else a refund. But this was shot there during April, and so my comedy's progressed a lot since then, so it's kind of almost embarrassing to watch that, but I'm still kind of proud of it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you put it in, because a lot of times I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, don't show that clip. But then, it's actually really good. So it's only like even the clips that we show right now, I go, oh yeah, I rewrote that part, but that's just for us, right?
That's just part of the trade.
That's just part of the trade. All right, well, let's take a look at Devin Monahan, and we'll be right back with Brendan, his brother, and Devin with the big debate.
Yeah, no, I'm a reddish American. Yeah, not redhead. That is not politically correct. And sure as hell not ginger.
They have no souls.
That's our word, not yours. You can't use it. You cannot call me a ginger. You can call me ginger, but not ginger. Okay, so to recap, ginger bad, ginger good. So ginger, please. Come on.
Ginger.
So yeah, thin ice. No, that's funny. Thank you. No man, it's Lent again. Yeah, rumor has it Greg Oden will be giving up basketball for Lent. Oh, was that out of bounds? Was that out of bounds? Well, fuck it, I'll tell that to his face. What's he gonna do? Chase me? Oh, yeah, if there's anyone we should go back for, it's Millionaire Jocks. Yeah. Man, but it's Lent. This year for Lent, I'll be giving up sacrifice. I hope it's worth it. No, man, I'm giving up booze for Lent, alcohol. It was getting in the way of my studies, I started drinking when I, would do homework, and then I started drinking on tests, like my math test, my science test, my driving test. Don't drink during your driving test. You might really mess up your text messaging. That's what I did, man. But yeah, I don't think a bar is going to be the most supportive environment for my sobriety. It's like going to a church and telling them I'm giving up organized superstition for Lent.